Why does the absence of jealousy create agreement? Why exactly this aspect? And why agreement?
Agreement is interest, the kind of interest that draws in energy so you can grow into the level you claimed but haven't yet reached.
So it's the ability not to get stuck in the past.
Yes, it's when your capacity and the energy you've already directed into the right pathways create this effect. Whatever happens, you're genuinely happy for the other person to feel good. And when a man, we'll look at it both ways, doesn't get jealous of a woman's fantasies or of her ability to notice something beautiful in other men, she resonates with that, fills herself with it, and later reflects that back into him, and he becomes that. But if he gets jealous, it simply means he has no intention of becoming anything like those men in whom she senses the potential she would love to see in her own partner. And the same goes the other way.
And it can also be that he simply doesn't want to.
Doesn't intend to.
And maybe he doesn't need it.
Then they shouldn't be together. That's the baseline.
So his woman will definitely feel which direction she resonates with?
Here's the thing. Women still steer the ship, but they can steer poorly. Why? A woman leads through the man. A man sees something in other women, but what actually happens is that those qualities travel through him back to his woman. And if she doesn't have jealousy, which means she has agreement, which means interest and energy available for growth, then she will develop those qualities very quickly. But we're blocked, men and women alike, and we blame each other because we don't want to grow. When we judge, complain, get jealous, stay dissatisfied, think through the lens of no, that's simply resistance to entering the new. Not because we're right and they're wrong, it's a disguised unwillingness to evolve. So when I judge or get jealous or start demanding something, it's never because someone is behaving incorrectly. It's because I don't intend to grow in that direction. I'm choosing to latch onto someone else's issues through my distorted perception and sync with them just to stay in those same vibrations instead of moving where time and the higher frequency are heading.
And can it be that no one is actually at fault? You often say circumstances are written from above and only activate inside us? Could it be that the time simply hasn't come yet? Or if it does arise,
this is where you need to admit
that it's the right time to look into it?
To be grateful and to accept that it's not ideal yet. And I can't do anything about it for now. If judgment and resentment flood me, the real question is, where did the maternal program install faulty principles and dogmas that I'm still living by? They can't be removed instantly because we can't let go of the old when the new hasn't arrived yet. We let go only when the new comes, and then we swap places. If we let go too early, we're letting go of ourselves. We collapse. Because if my mother installed certain traits, and I clearly see moments when, her rules, her beliefs, her behavior slip out through me, it's because she didn't give love before I was 3. She gave what she gave, and that's what works inside me. If she had given love, then love would be what runs inside me. That's how it is. And when we talk about separation, the ideal mother-child separation is when, up to age 3, the mother loves, hugs, kisses, nurtures her child, but her value system is she loves herself first, then her man, then her children, then her hobby, then her work, then her friends, then her parents. There's a hierarchy. And if she falls in love with her children, if she loves her children more than herself or more than her man, she destroys their destiny. She literally ruins them. It's a law. It works like that. We would love to sugarcoat it and say, but children are sacred. Yet in that moment, we become vampires drinking the life force of our kids when we love them more than ourselves and our partner.
Because it's the relationship between man and woman that should be feeding the child.
Harmonize.
Instead of taking that wholeness from a little child, we should generate it between us.
We join forces. We bring children into this world through the value of our relationship. And the more we value each other, the more energy the child receives, and like a young god, adapts to this world. But when a woman pours everything into her children, the man is like, okay, and now what? Where's my place? What about business? What am I supposed to do? Where do I go? And that's when he falls into depression, because he lives through the woman's inner state, and she has relocated her entire inner world into the children. The children get overheated because they cannot perform the role of the man, and the woman becomes a frantic vampire, draining and destroying her kids with her sticky love, because loving children is easier. It's like when grandmothers say, "Leave me the grandkid." The kid tries to run away, and the grandmother says, "No, he'll sleep with me, I'm keeping him." That's pure vampirism. And yes, there is true life force there. And that's why in Slavic culture, it was forbidden for kids or young girls to sleep next to old people, because for them it's death, literal death, unless those elders are living fully, fulfilled, joyful, in transformation, in curiosity, in growth.
We'll come back to the topic of kids and older people. We'll have that later. Now, about jealousy. When a woman starts clearing the space around her man, not letting him talk to other women.
That's her degradation. It means her conversations are empty. It means she spends her time scrolling social media.
What if a man really does walk out the door and immediately run straight to his mistress?
Then that's her fate, because she doesn't have the spark. The principle is simple. If you're running around eating whatever comes your way, it means you don't even have crackers at home. But if you're being fed like you're in a Michelin-level restaurant, your system won't even tolerate that street food made of cats and dogs energy, not by taste, not by smell, not by vibe.
Okay, got it. And does the concept of healthy flirting even exist?
I believe it's essential, because that's where the energies of men and women multiply. When you trust the world, when you agree with life, when you're in acceptance and there's no ownership, then real ownership appears, because you get the maximum benefit from wherever your partner flirted. But you have to understand the rule. The more you grow, the more any flirtation becomes a natural exchange of life energy with no consequences. But when we're running deficits, lying somewhere, glued to social media, steeped in our own rigidity, judging, refusing to own where we're wrong, all that piles up, and flirting becomes pure survival, and it also becomes a way to pass energy to the one who's blocked. Because take even that situation when a man goes to a mistress, he's actually taking the missing energy from her and first bringing it to his woman. She adapts it, and from the overflow gives it back to the man so he can grow in business and move forward. The energy never goes straight to the man. It always comes through the woman, completing the circuit. And in that sense, the man is, in a way, rescuing his woman energetically, but the woman has to use that energy for her own benefit. When she hates that other woman, she's actually hating her own growth and her own evolution, because she chose to degenerate. But our values are so upside down that everything goes completely off the rails. And I can give examples. Let me give you one, because this isn't about me or my personal life. As Jacques Fresco said, I pronounced it right, yeah?
Yes.
He said, "Guys, you're teaching me about moral correctness, family values. You're arranging these tribunals about jealousy and betrayal. You tell me it's forbidden to look at a woman for more than 5 seconds, that it's already harassment. You say flirting is a crime. But I lived among the Papuans. They walked completely naked, nobody embarrassed, nobody hiding. They didn't even have the concept of husband and wife, and they were insanely happy people. They raised shared children.
And they looked each other in the eyes.
And it never even crossed their mind to stare at someone's chest or anything else, because they communicated through their eyes. Culture conditioned us to think it's wrong, blocked the natural exchange. And when we look at a beautiful chest, beautiful legs, a handsome man, or an elegant person, we actually receive energy. But now it's sinful, forbidden. Take only what's next to you. Jacques Fresco says, I'm literally showing you these Papuans live better than you do. They're happier, healthier, they have many children, lots of sex, and they don't even think about it, because no one imposed dogmas, rules. This is bad, this is good, this is a mortal sin, or you'll burn in hell for this.
So these Papuans had this healthy flirt. Kindness in the eyes, good wishes.
Exactly. And the most interesting thing?
Not the "this is evil" approach.
They never make love unless they genuinely want to. But when they do, that's when happy, healthy children and a healthy nation are born. That's the point.
Can our society ever get to something like that?
Look,
Well, not now, but someday.
today people are trying desperately to compensate somehow. But because the Bible says no law, no sin, as soon as you make a law, you create the possibility of breaking it. Everyone starts judging because they don't have something and someone else allowed themselves to have it. Doesn't matter what, money, success, fulfillment, sex. They say, look how bad he is, and we're the good ones. We've got nothing, but we're holding strong. How dare he allow himself to be rich, successful, sexual, or have 3 wives? Oh, the horror. You must live in poverty and misery so that everyone pities you, or you pity everyone else. All of it comes from the family system. When we have respect, true appreciation of another person, and it flows into many aligned interests that becomes love. Then sex is formed, an exchange of energy that grows the man, the woman, the business, everything, and also, partly, leads to the birth of children. But today they tell us, sex only when you're planning to make a child. Period.
Well,
Again, dogmas. But today's kids, what do we call them now? Zoomers?
the very young ones are alpha. Zoomers are a bit older.
Okay, I'm talking about Zoomers. If we trust the statistics, which almost always lie but can reflect a trend, most of them have no desire for sex, no desire for communication, growth, or bonding. They're screen-raised kids.
Digital.
All their energy has migrated into the virtual world, and you can't develop them. And that's dangerous for the planet. Earth will wither, we'll get heavy greenhouse effects, because our foundation is communication. And the biggest damage wasn't caused by wars, but by the pandemic. The fake pandemic. That was actually a deception. But we must understand that our life is the reflection of the lie each of us carries within. When we lie to ourselves, that's how this whole external lie appears.
Let's go back to the wholeness of a man and a woman. You described a situation where if a man with sincerity, interest, and a positive attitude notices good things in other women, he eventually attracts the one who's truly his. Does it work the same way for women? Considering that women, in general, can literally materialize a child and have way more creative potential, can they take any wooden stump, so to speak, and turn him into anyone they want? Or does it not work like that?
Let me speak from facts and real energetic mechanics. Women massively underestimate themselves. If they truly recognize their own worth, everything in their life would start to flow. They'd always be happy, always in love, always lit up, always abundant, always youthful, always beautiful, always effective. But unfortunately, most of them move from fear. They're easily manipulated by the outside world. And yes, conditions and trends shape that. Only recently have men and women even begun to be perceived as equals. Not long ago, even 30 to 50 years back, a woman was treated as a half person. And that matters, because the planet itself wasn't ready to receive huge volumes of feminine life force, but now it is. And women will need to move not into extreme feminism, the kind where it becomes kids, household, and a husband limit me. I'm not developing, I don't need kids or a man. What's important to understand is that a woman's capacity is colossal, cosmic.
But how?
She simply needs to start enjoying life, genuinely celebrating other women, genuinely celebrating other men, and letting go of ownership. And whatever she does, do it with love and kindness. That's the main reset point she needs to allow in herself, and that will shift the entire world. Because when a woman follows false values, like telling herself, intimacy only after 3 months, or sex only after marriage, or playing the role of being unavailable or too cool, all those mental constructions are false. She must instead listen to her heart. What, when, with whom, and how deeply. And when her feminine qualities stay alive, kindness, love, softness, care, activity, drive, playfulness, sparkle in the eyes, fast-switching humor, she'll always be on top. She'll always attract the best option possible. She'll have amazing health, incredible sexuality, strong financial flow, and she'll remain genuine and kind, both to women and to men. Of course, she'll still recognize when someone approaches her as a consumer, but that shows up only in the first layer of life, when our mothers had their own issues. After we clear that, our kids will have it easier, and their kids, if we keep going in this direction, won't even know what jealousy, accusations, or judgment are, just like those Papuans, uncorrupted by dogma, living freely, happy, and still happy today, until we show up with our religion, our rules, our shame, and start putting clothes on them. How dare you run around naked? It's just no law, no sin. Act from love, not from strange limitations created out of nowhere by no one knows who.
You also once said that if a woman is conservative, rigid, full of fear or anxiety, then when her man goes to a mistress, he kind of pumps his own woman with the mistress's qualities later. But what if the opposite? The woman is too bright for the man. Everyone likes her, and he escapes to someone else just to feel safe.
Everything happens naturally, really, naturally.
Can that imbalance be fixed?
From everything I've seen, very rarely. If a relationship is uneven, she's incredible, beautiful, sexual, smart, educated, full of life, and she tries to lift him up, but he doesn't rise. The gap is too big. He simply finds someone on his vibration, a level lower, but he feels good there. Because if he grew up with false values in his family, and then life gives him a queen, sexy, evolving, entrepreneurial, gentle, loving, yet he still goes and does God knows what with someone else, that means he never chose his own growth. He isn't investing energy in his development, so he invests it in his own decline. The opportunity was there. He didn't use it.
And in the first scenario, when the woman is closed, conservative, living by, I need nothing, I want nothing, I don't love anyone, can they stay together?
Listen, I'll tell you something.
I mean, can they become true in that choice?
I've said it many times. Everything is individual. From what I've observed, yes, sometimes the moment the man finds someone who carries those missing qualities, the energy passes to his woman. Something clicks. She jumps to the next level. Her values reboot. Everything shifts. But most often, the marriage simply falls apart. Or they stay but hate each other because no one agreed to change. But the whole event was a sign that change was required. There should be no accusations. It just means the limit was reached. But people are complex, and most misjudge themselves. Ask someone, where are you in your development? And he says, I'm doing great. You test. And there's still a marathon to run. Women often live in false values. For example, a woman says, I'm amazing. Then you ask, where? In what? And she gets offended. Because in her head, she built an image. But her extra 120 kilos, her cigarettes, her alcohol habits, her inertia, her TV shows, her gossip circle, don't touch any of that. She says, love me for my deep essence. And I won't bring specific examples, though I have many, but it's common when people judge the man. How dare he leave? And I look at her and think, how did he even start dating her? I've seen real cases, 120 kilos of excess weight, and she refuses to work on herself, but because there's a stamp in the passport, she thinks, you're mine until death. And if he leaves, you monster, I'll keep eating pastries and won't change a thing.
I feel we should move to the third block. The first was fully energetic, the second already got into specifics.
The question is,
And the third will be our Q&A.
the state must be unity. And unity in our world comes through obstacles. We can't get there without conflicts. So our baseline is gratitude, the desire for love, kindness, sincerity, openness. And at the same time, we're always drawn to where there's more love, more sincerity, more kindness. And when we stop relying on the past and resonate with our best inner state, guided by intuition, honesty, belonging to our nature as men or women, and the willingness to lose, something clicks. It doesn't match the principles the world expects. And then you hear, wow, she's lucky, or something incredible happened to him. No, they just started listening to themselves. This alignment of true values gives the sense that everything will be great, even though we still have to push through because we're connected to our ancestors. They live inside us, but we still reach the right result as long as we don't justify our weaknesses, our judgment, or our victimhood. We admit the truth, we give thanks, and we lay, sit, crawl, walk, or run in the direction of love.
Perfect. In the third block, we'll dive into very specific questions.